This week in disc golf, Gannon takes down the first Elite Plus event in dramatic fashion. Tattar wins her first event to kick off her season. Serious allegations out against Lone Star, and so much more. What's going on, all you disgenerates? We're in Austin, Texas, and it's me, Swiss Cheese, with the Disc Golf World. You guys already know the one with all the holes in his game, and you're watching This Week in Disc Golf, where we cover all things disc golf from the past week. Thanks everyone for taking the time to watch, and especially to those of you who have subscribed. Jefferson, the minivan, and myself are currently outside a Panera parking lot. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so. It's the easiest way to help build the channel to support us while on tour. Guys, if you haven't checked out either our interview with Waco TD pros during the press conference, make sure to do so, as we're one of the few to bring all the action from the road and tour stops to you. All the action this weekend featured far more than the results on the course. Wacky Waco win, the gem of a Waco fan, and some of the best supports of the community. The entire weekend and event was a juxtaposition of the crossroads where the sport currently finds itself. On one side, the Mavericks of disc golf past. Those who have learned the game from the camaraderie of local disc golfers in the community who are guarded, holding on to traditions, courses like the Beast, and the counterculture nomadic freedom disc golf provides. On the other side, the ever younger athletes, raised on Macbeth highlights and educated from YouTube form videos, who ditch the van life for partnered Airbnbs, who demand the professionalization of the sport through course design, standardization, large contracts and prize pools, and general DGPT growth. The tour has seen historic stops removed from the DGP Tour and the Memorial and De La to bring in stops like OTB Open for better viewership and, most importantly, dollars. And now, Waco Finale, once featuring the best 3 finishing holes in the U.S. at the Beast, deemed too small or the event growing too large for the wooded technical course many of the old guard cherished for the installation of yet another ball golf course with a forgettable hole 18. The promotion to an Elite Plus event for the Waco tournament was calculated and contingent on the addition of the Waco course, which was featured last year for the AMS competition. The development of the Waco course was a soap opera storyline that featured death, court battles, and resolution that left the team limited time to cut out some of the holes. And we'll need to save the temporary T-Bads topic for later, but it was a topic conversation for the entire weekend. Lucky for you, we sat down with TD Ryan Draper and informed us of the struggles they encountered. If you haven't already, make sure to check out the interview. The play-in scoring during the MPO further displayed this crossroads with some of the oldest vets and youngest stars in the game shining early. Greg Barsby, apart from knowing the best taco spots at every tour stop, shared the lead with a 12 under with James Conrad on day 1. While some future Hall of Famers and vet favorites in Nate Sexton, Nicola Castro, Kale LaVisca, Luke Humphries, Paul Ulibarri, and Big Germ Coling found themselves in the top 25 or higher each day of the tournament. The young guns in the game made their presence known also, with Gannon Buhr, Nicholas Antala, Kyle Klein, Kel Lundqvist, AB, and Mason Ford showed that they will continue to not only be featured in today's game, but high atop the leaderboard. The final day card featured Gannon and Luke atop the leaderboard with a 27 under, while the remaining lead card was filled with Ford and Sexton, a stroke off the lead. With the locals, Draper, and the DGPT all hoping for an exciting finish on the new Waco track to quell all the ball golf criticism. Unfortunate for them, it actually happened. AB brought the excitement early with a featured ace on his 11 under that moved him up 11 spots into 4th place. Yet was too far away at the start of the day to push further onto the podium. Antala was 12 under and had a hold of the lead from Chase Card heading into Island Hole 17. Nicholas went OB and elected to lay up for a bogey with a precarious death putt facing him, opening the door for Gannon and Humphries to capitalize and take down the event. Gannon had a costly bogey on 12, with 4 of the top 6 most difficult holes on the course remaining, and he had an uphill battle to secure his first victory with Discmania at the premier Prodigy stop on tour. Gannon would birdie 2 of the next 4 holes, but was a stroke off leader Humphries, who after a bogey on hole 1 remained clean with 10 birdies heading into hole 17 with a 1-stroke lead. Humphries was confident after hitting a huge putt on 16 with the entire crowd behind him, went into 17 knowing he birdied the hole prior in worse conditions. Gannon, after his drive on 17, found himself with a 61-foot elevated putt with surrounding OB, while Humphries, on the other hand, a simple C1 putt a mere 17 feet away after an excellent drive. Some felt this would be a wrap for Gannon, forgetting his past C2 putting heroics in some of the biggest moments in his career on the largest stages. With ice in his veins, buried the putt for birdie, putting him a stroke behind Humphries heading into 18 after Luke hit his birdie putt also. At that point, many were hoping for Humphries' victory, not only rooting for the charismatic player who's yet to win an elite event, but holding on to the disc golf ways that many grew up with. Yet similar to the crossroads of disc golf, most in attendance knew the inevitable progress and change in the game would see the young dominant Gannon take victory from the old guard grass, further ushering the age of modern disc golf. Gannon went into his approach knowing he could birdie 18 and had the advantage of Luke throwing first. Luke deserves all the credit for running the approach and putting victory on his shoulders. Unfortunately, it went OB, and in Gannon fashion, put his upshot in C1 for a birdie look, completely removing a chance of a playoff and handing the victory to Gannon after he sealed the championship with an emphatic yell and emotion after his putt. Luke was able to take down second place in a sad consolation prize, while Nicholas held on to the last remaining podium spot.
Beth at 69.
I just told myself, you just got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable. This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
Over in the FPO, the stage was set for Tattar's return after missing the Chess.com Invitational to stay in Estonia for a couple of weeks for her daughter's birthday and, of course, a presidential gala where she was one of the most decorated athletes to attend. Fans were eager not only for her return to the States, but also the return of her dominance on the field, where she was looking to become the back-to-back champion at Waco. Though a 6-under at the Bravos Beast was a respected number, it found her 2 strokes off the lead and in third place behind Owen Scoggins and Ella Hansen after day 1. No one began to worry as there were still 3 more days of the event for Tattar to capture the lead. However, after day 2, where Ella was able to extend the lead to 6 strokes, some began to question if there was too many strokes to overcome, especially with the addition of the Waco golf course for the final day. Only for the greatest FPO disc golfer to come to the sport to not only overcome the deficit, but put together a 5-stroke lead on the field altogether the very next round. Tattar's dominance of the beast during the worst weather conditions of the weekend was enough to win the tournament on the 3rd day. The performance reminiscent of another great athlete, Tiger Woods. I hate using a ball golf reference like each of you, however, there's no other athlete that strikes the same amount of fear in the competition and expectations to not only dominate, but win every week from fans. With about nearly 2 years of supremacy, now there is no apparent speed bumps or Perkins waiters to derail her current success in the sport. After completing what had never been done prior with a Grand Slam winning season just last year, she's the odds-on favorite to do it yet again, especially with her taking down Elite Plus events without her normal statistical dominance, as she is still working herself into season's form. She only led in strokes gained tee to green over the weekend and certainly did not look as in command on the putting green that fans have witnessed prior. Yet, Tattar would go 4-under on the final day, take down the event with a 7-stroke lead over Owen, while Holland Hanley was able to edge out Evelina Salonen by a single stroke to capture the 3rd place. Also further highlighted the need for some further standardization for the sport, though many want to highlight the need for standardized baskets after a number of rage-inducing prodigy basket causing spitouts and even more dramatic upset player reactions this weekend. The talk of players on the course before and during the event shows a far more need of not only standardizing professional tee pads, but also expanding the size of them also. The raised tee pads, though sturdy, created a step up that brought added injury risk, as most pros run-ups now begin off the tee no matter the size of the player. It is a fair demand of the DGPT to hosting locations that greatly affects player safety and something that every tournament on tour can implement. Simply set the new guidelines for a professional tee pad and allow 2 years for courses to expand tee pads if they want to continue being a DGPT event. That and far less complicated than selecting a standardized basket or manufacture one. In some off-the-course news, the community was exposed to some questionable business and ethics practices from a disc golf manufacturer and future DGPT Stop sponsor. Jeff Hofstra, owner of both Meridian Discs and Dropship Disc Golf and former marketing employee of Lone Star Disc Golf, who recently departed the company this offseason, shines a light on how bad things are over at his former company. Josh in an X post candidly went in on Lone Star and stated that he could no longer remain silent to their practices, which include trying to control or hinder Josh's new business ventures, physical threats to him and sponsored players that associate with him. Pretty damning allegations and a poor look for the DGPT if true. Josh would go on to say that while an employee with Lone Star, he helped create a false positive for a brand that wants to take the sport of disc golf, its players, and its revenue streaming and control it for their own selfish gain. Both Lone Star and the DGPT has not made an official comment or response to these allegations as of yet. Lone Star had a quick rise in the community a mere 2 years ago, but have been marred by marketing issues, lawsuit threats, departures, now allegations of negative business practices threatening players and former employees. Made worse by the fact that Lone Star is the sponsor of the Texas States, an upcoming DGPT stop. These assertions and speculated attacks on players are serious and need to be handled as such. The DGPT, at the very least, has to investigate these allegations and, if confirmed, drop Lone Star from any future marketing or event sponsorship. You simply cannot have a manufacturer threatening your product and the players and continue a partnership or promotion of said manufacturer. Now, critics will state that there was no proof provided in Josh's tweet and further attack this threat as a marketing ploy himself by dropping not only his business ventures and vending at the upcoming Open at Austin. Josh has responded by sharing a message, presumably from Travis Dillard, vice president of Lone Star, stating any sponsored players associated with dropship will be kicked off the team. Though not a physical threat, still fairly damning. Lone Star has had plenty of egg on its face, whether it was mass departures of players and employees this offseason, the promotion of a Ponzi Scream Ranger team, and rumors of threatening the owner of Otto, the Lone Star-sponsored dog. The public opinion of Lone Star by many was viewed as slimy and as greedy as one would expect an oil tycoon to be. This has impacted the company so much so that even those in Texas don't with Lone Star, choosing Mint instead, and at this continued rate, neither will the remaining community. Now let's move into some quick hitters. Stacey Ronsley has chose to sit out the Open at Austin, choosing to get healthy for the USWDGC. It was ratings week, so many pros celebrated their results with the exception of McBeast, who saw his lowest drop. The most watched rating was Tattar, who fell just short of being the first FPO player to hit 1,000 rated, finishing 999. Other pros celebrated a bump in their ratings: Holly Finley, Rebecca Cox, Kel Lundquist, Gannon Buhr, Ezra Robinson, and even Scott Stokely. But he shares everything, even hiring a cameraman for Disc Golf's version of Zach Stone. Casey celebrates his birthday with an epic Discmania designed birthday cake, and also the resurgence of the tilt in his bag, throwing it at the beast and also against Bear Bite in a tilt battle. Casey must have pulled the out-of-production tilt out of retirement, or Simon found one during spring cleaning. For the Discmania heads, at least it's not an end of a produced classic. Lastly, Gannon shows his torso is about the same size as Nicholas Antala. Not sure how Discmania doesn't capitalize on Twins marketing here. Pull out the white linen suits and throw a practice round already. Some might make jokes about Luke Humphries selling rocks, but the rock hound likes rocks. He just likes how they feel. And guys, that wraps up this week in disc golf. And guys, make sure to check out our daily recaps following each day's action. We will be tackling those daily all the way up to our weekend recap to get caught up on all the action of elite events. And if you're attending the Open at Austin, make sure to stay dry and look out for two goofballs in media vests, probably looking lost and possibly miserable. And come say what's up. If you have stayed this long, thank you, and pat yourself on the back. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so. While you're at it, like, comment, and share. And if you want more, check out all the previous episodes and all the content we continue to pump out.